could be our main event champion right here. Not with that migraine.
And as we're at the WSOP right now and you're doing really well, do you want to talk us through like your experience at the WSOP and what you're up to now?
In fact, this is my third summer in Las Vegas. Previously, I did dabble in the MTTs. I always played the Colossus and the Millionaire Maker, and this is my first time participating in the main event actually. I figured that after so many years of grinding cash games over here, I might have a bit of an edge over the average American player. In fact, one of the highlights of my WSOP main event run this year was that on day 3, which is the deciding day because you get to ITM, my day 3 table draw had last year's bracelet winner, John Sin, on my immediate right. And after 2 hours, David Peters also came to my table. So it was a really fun table on day 3.
Wesley, we understand you're not just a poker player and successful as well, but you're also a coach. So let us know about your experience as being a poker coach.
Poker players from Asian countries first started getting crazy over this variant of the game called open-face Chinese poker. I got pretty good at the game because I solved the mathematics behind it. Yeah, it's a very mathematical game. So fast forward to 2018, I had an opportunity to join a coaching team in China, and they wanted me to do coaching for OFC. But it turned out that they realized that I could play Texas Hold'em as well, so I did some coaching over there in the game of Texas Hold'em. So for me, I coached OFC first for 3 years, then I coached Texas Hold'em in China for a year. Yeah.
And you used UPoker for the coaching?
UPoker is currently quite a popular platform to play on. I've had some students who follow me for 3 or 4 years, and they always ask me, like, Coach or Wesley, where's the best place to play Pineapple right now? Because games are always drying up. Like they always say, the fish are dying. So I would always tell them which side I'm currently playing on. So like a few days ago, I told them probably the best game now is the X a point game on UPoker because I actually played it. I'm convinced that the action is good, and that's why I recommend it to my students. I assure them that the action is really good and they can get a good hourly if they put in the volume. Yeah.
And you're also providing UPoker with feedback from players?
They've made a lot of updates to the POFC function. So I think it's running as smoothly as the Hold'em and PLO games right now. So OFC lovers should totally try out UPoker.
And can you talk to us about like some of the customization options that you have on UPoker?
Okay, the customization options, they tend to generally refers to for the role of club manager. It doesn't affect the players that much, but it affects the club managers a lot. I would say I've done supervising for certain clubs in other apps before. There were a lot of things that could not be done in-app, and we had to make manual adjustments. So, for instance, one of the customization options, the settings that I find to be most useful would be VPIP restrictions before the player sits down. Because in some apps, what happens is the club does not want super tight players to take up all the seats and play very needy against the recreational players because that's bad for the club. So what they do is they say this table is VPIP 40 and above.
Okay.
But how do they know? So they have an admin, a staff, to manually click on each player, and if the player does not have 40, the player is kicked from the table, even if the player is losing, and that's terrible for the customer experience. Imagine a person with VPIP 32, he sits down, he loses 50 big blinds, and he gets removed from the table. So this rule is kind of inflexible. At UPoker, we can get around this issue by just having the VPIP restriction from the start, and I think that's way friendlier towards recreational players, which is the bulk of the player pool. Yeah. How UPoker works is that to join certain clubs, you just need the contact of someone in charge of the club. The access to different clubs, it's been pretty smooth. We're quite international. We have various, for example, Americans playing in the Asian clubs, and they just do it because the customer service is really helpful. They link them up with the managers of that club. They get to play in clubs that run in other time zones, and this is important because sometimes you want to play in the wee hours of the morning or like at 9 a.m. and usually the players who are in the same location as you, they don't play at 9 a.m. But you should play with people from around the world, and usually they're active when it's 9 a.m. in your country, yeah.
So you are from Asia, but you're very well connected to the US poker market as well, the poker scene. So could you share how clubs and players from the US can actually get involved with the Asian players?
Usually club managers promote their clubs through affiliates and by word of mouth, or one of the most popular ways is through social media marketing. So that has been working really well for UPoker. Like, we've had not just Americans, but players from various European and South American countries that managed to play in our Asian clubs. And soon we hope that we can reverse that, do the other way around, and try to promote the European and American clubs to Asian players. We already know how a club operates, but one of the harsh truths about a club is that usually with just one club of like 500 to 600 players, it may not be enough to get games running 24/7. So usually clubs join unions, that is, they join with other clubs so that they can share player pools. Players that enter from any club can sit in on a table and play on the same table as players who entered from other clubs. But we realized that clubs have a tendency to join up with other clubs from the same region, like Brazil and Mexico, so they tend to be on really similar time zones. So here's the thing about the club to multi-union function. One of the best examples I can think of is a Russian club could actually join a US union as well as a Russian union at the same time. The players in this Russian club will get to see tables from both sides, and because there's a 10-hour gap in the time zone of Russia and some parts of US, the games are probably going to run 24/7. So we hope that the more ambitious club managers are going to aggressively join unions that are, kind of outside their usual zone of cooperation, like Asia and Europe, etc. Yeah.
Right, so now we talked about how you like UPoker as a coach, but how about as a player?
So one of the biggest problems with online poker nowadays is the prevalence of colluding and cheating, all forms of cheating. So what I like about UPoker is that UPoker has a security team that actually interferes with the operations of any club in case there is a cheating complaint. Whereas I know that other apps, they don't really do this. But for UPoker, I know for a fact that the security team will interfere if there is a complaint from a player. For now, the restriction works such that two players who are in close proximity to each other, they can't sit in on the same table. And we actually did a test on that to see if people could get around it. So what we did was we asked two of our staff to be at different locations, so location A and location B, and we have another co-worker at location A. He now logs in to the account of the player who is at location B. Now both of them are actually at location A because he logged into the other person's account. The system was designed to check GPS and IP every few minutes, so eventually one of them got booted out once the hand was over. So we realized that this trick doesn't fool the GPS and IP detection, which is great.
And how do people get in touch to get involved in the action?
People can find out more about UPoker by visiting our Facebook page or just contacting us at care@upoker.net, care, C-A-R-E.